What's up YouTube, I'm Guy, and today on the channel I want to discuss Seiko in a little bit of news that I saw on their social media this morning. They released a couple of new watches, and it really sparked this question in my mind. Something that I've actually been thinking about for a while, something I want to ask you guys. Has Seiko jumped the proverbial shark? Are they losing their way? Are they going down a road that as collectors we don't really agree with? Something I've been thinking about for a while, over the last probably year, maybe close to 2 years, with all of these new limited editions, these Baselworld releases in particular, discontinuing really popular models, adding new models to their catalog that really don't offer a lot more in terms of value and come in at a much higher price point. And finally, something else I want to talk about are their movements. So today, the news that I saw, they released these limited edition, what they're calling Shippo, S-H-I-P-P-O. I don't know how you pronounce that. It's probably in Japanese, Shippo, I would guess. These limited edition watches are enamel dialed, limited to 2,500 pieces. They feature a 6R15 movement in the case of the time-only version. And they have a price point of $1,400 and $1,600 respectively. And that seems like a lot of money for a watch that's really no different than a number of models that they have had in the past. For that price, I think it's a little ridiculous, I gotta be honest. And it's something that I've seen them doing more and more since Baselworld 2017. And I'm not really a fan of what they're doing here. They have some other watches that are either still in production or have been recently discontinued, I'm not sure. But the SARX, S-A-R-X 027 and 049. Also enamel dialed watches, 6R15 movements, price points of $600 and $760 respectively. What are we getting for the extra, I don't know, $600 to $800 that they're asking for on these new watches? I don't really see it. I mean, the dials look nice, for sure. If you've seen the pictures, I'll try to find the pictures and put them up on the video here. Yeah, they look nice, sure. But it's a 6R15 movement in a watch that really doesn't offer any features over similar models within their own catalog for double the price, simply because it's limited edition. You'd almost think they're taking a page from the Omega book with all of the limited edition watches that they churn out. It seems like monthly almost. This kind of feels a bit like a cash grab if you think about it. 2,500 pieces times $1,400, $3.5 million. It's like a little bit like gambling. So in gambling, you have this concept of expected value or equity. You make a wager under the expectation that you'll win so much money. So it feels like that's what they're doing. They're saying, we're only going to sell 2,500 of these. Let's sell them for $1,400 and get our $3.5 million. If we had to sell this watch for $600, which I'm guessing they probably could, well, now we got to sell $5,800 and change in order to get that same $3.5 million. It seems like they're just going for a cash grab here, and they're really not offering a whole lot of value for the price. Specifically because they're using this 6R15 movement. A movement that in its own right is okay, but it's a movement we've seen in watches for years at the, I don't know, $400, $500, $600 price point. And it doesn't feel like I'm getting much value for my money, to be completely honest. Some other examples of things they've been doing, Baselworld 2017, they created that new 62 MAS limited edition watch, the SLA 017, at something on the order of $3,000 plus. That was a limited edition. Of course, it did have a better movement than the 6R15, but concurrently they released a version that was, I guess, a reinterpretation of that watch. That was the SBDC051. There's a couple of other variations in different styles, colors, things like that. That watch is just a 6R15 movement at a list price of $1,000 or $1,100. You can probably find them for around $850 to $900. $850 to $900 for a stainless steel watch from Seiko with a 6R15 movement. That's a pretty big letdown. I don't know that there's a whole lot of value there. It looks cool, don't get me wrong. But with that movement, with the features that they're including, it seems, again, like they're going for a little bit of a cash grab. They're trying to move that 6R15 movement, caliber grade movement, up market is what I feel like they're doing here. Let's talk about that idea for a second. We've seen a lot of watches in the last 2 years get discontinued. Beloved watches, fan favorites, the SARB 033 and 035, the Alpinist, several SARG series watches, the SARG 007, 011, I believe, are the reference numbers. All of these watches came in at around $500 or less. They all had the same 6R15 movement. I believe the majority of them had sapphire crystals. They've discontinued all of these watches, and now they're bringing out new watches with that same movement at double and apparently triple the price, sometimes as limited editions. I don't agree with it. I'm not happy about it, and I'm starting to wonder if Seiko's jumping the shark here. You know, maybe we've been drinking the Seiko Kool-Aid for so long that we didn't notice they changed the flavor on us, and we're still happy with it. And don't get me wrong, Seiko has been, historically speaking, one of my favorite brands. They make a lot of really cool watches, or at least they have before they started discontinuing all of them. They have a lot of really good value pieces in their catalog. Again, they used to. But in the new catalog, I'm not really sure. I mean, if you look at Seiko's website, they used to call it the Core series, and this is Seiko USA. These are the watches that I might find at an authorized dealer in the United States of America. Now I believe they call them the Essentials instead of the Cores. It's slim pickings, to be completely honest. There's almost nothing in that line of watches that I would consider purchasing myself. Now they have the Prospex watches, and within that line, yeah, they have the Turtle, they have the Samurai, but then a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm really not interested in. I'm not impressed by. I'm not really sure what they're doing. I'm not really sure if I like what they're doing. And, you know, moving forward, I'm hesitant to expect really any good things, to be honest. If it's more limited editions, if it's more upmarket watches with the movement that we have historically seen in sub $500 watches, yeah, I'm not really pleased with it. Speaking of their movements, here's another thing that I wanted to talk about, and this probably deserves its own, I don't know, its own video, its own discussion. The 7S26 movement is a movement that has always been touted as being a dependable workhorse, and, you know, it'll run for decades without a service. Now, the 7S26 is only in their more affordable watches. Frankly, those are the watches that interest me the most from the brand Seiko at this point. You know, the SKX, some Seiko 5s. Those are your value propositions at this point. All of those really good value proposition watches in the kind of, we'll call it mid-tier, discontinued. They're gone. So now we're stuck with, or at least I am, maybe not all of us, maybe you don't agree with me, but I'm stuck with watches that have a movement that is, I don't know, horribly subpar, I guess is the way I would describe it. Yeah, no hacking and no hand winding. That's the big complaint that most people have. I can live with that, I guess, although I would prefer to have those features. The problem for me is that the 7S26 is an incredibly inaccurate movement. I know people are going to say in the comments, but I have an SNK 809 and it runs 3 seconds per day. That's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's the exception, not the rule. I've had so many, we'll call them lower end, affordable, entry-level Seikos, if you will, come through here. I've put them on my time graphers. I've regulated a lot of them. More often than not, the positional variance on their timekeeping is very, very wide, making it extremely difficult to regulate them. And then months after you've got them running at what would be considered an acceptable level, and to me acceptable is like within plus or minus 10 seconds per day, they drift out of that range. They're no longer accurate. I have one that I gave to a friend 6 months ago. When I gave it to him, that watch was running at about +5. I had it tuned in really, really good. When he gave it back to me, it was running at plus, I don't know, 50, 60 seconds per day, in that ballpark. And the bigger problem was when I put it on my time grapher, it would be 30 seconds at +30. and then another 30 seconds it would make a huge sweep to plus 50, and then for another 30 seconds it would sweep to minus 20. It was very, very inconsistent. I've seen that type of thing happen a number of times. So all the watches that I like by this brand have this, again, pretty terrible movement in it. I'm sorry, people are not going to like that I'm saying that, but it's my opinion and I think it's the truth. And the watches that I thought were really good values at that $300, $400, $500 price point, the vast majority of them are no longer available. They're releasing more and more limited edition watches that really aren't offering anything over those watches that we all used to love for 2 and 3 times the money. I don't know. Did Seiko jump the shark, or is it just me? Alright guys, well, that's my thoughts here. I just wanted to share that, get that, I guess, off my chest, kind of do a little bit of a rant video. I still love Seiko. I think that they do have some really cool watches, but I am watching them with hesitation as, the future unfolds. Hopefully they get back on the horse, find their way again, if you will. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm going to definitely be exploring a lot of other brands to see what else is out there. I think you should all do the same as well. Thanks for tuning in. As always, if you want to help support the channel, down in the description of this video and every video I do, you will find links to my social media accounts. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, whichever you prefer. If you would like to help support the channel on Patreon, that would be greatly appreciated. And a big thanks to all you guys over there that are supporting me right now. Finally, there's the Amazon affiliate link. If you like anything that I've reviewed, click on that Amazon affiliate link before you decide to purchase it. I get a small commission. Doesn't matter what you buy, actually. If you use my links, those commissions do add up, and a big thanks to everybody that's been using them over the last year or so. I do appreciate it. Well, until later this week, I will say bye now.